be ready to take some notes. Curtis.
Tony.
Curtis McCoy.
Appreciate you.
Is this being recorded?
Yes, sir. If I was not recording myself as a personal branding guy, don't follow me, don't do business with me. I'm probably not worth doing business with. I noticed a lot of you are either have a website that you're not monetizing, you got a YouTube channel, you got a podcast, you're being a guest on podcast, and trying to figure out how to turn those into something you can actually make money with. If you're in a position right now where you know that your website, whatever you're doing, your message speaking, if you're not making money at it, it's gonna be really hard to continue helping people without that tool that allows you to spread your message. How many of you guys have websites? Pretty much everybody's got their website, okay? How many of you have a podcast that you host? A few podcast hosts as well. Are any of you on YouTube? A bunch of YouTubers, okay? And anybody that's got a podcast that you're not making money at yet. It costs you money for equipment, costs you time for the interviews, and you're not making any money. A quick tip that really helps out a lot, one of the biggest things is having a dedicated page. So for example, if you had me as a guest on your show, yourpodcast.com, whatever your podcast website is, /MCurtisMcCoy, where you're sucking up search traffic. Anybody that searches for me, maybe if they've never heard of your podcast, they're searching something that I talked about, Google drives them to that landing page, and now you're able to monetize that show. Or do any of you host a podcast where you've got an individual episode page for each individual guest? Nobody's doing the individual pages yet? Awesome. A quick and easy way to do this, I suggest this to podcast hosts often. The typical response that I get is, I'm just trying to take the time to get these episodes edited, get them uploaded. I'm not making any money. My wife's mad at me. I'm spending free time and not making any money. She's trying to get me to quit. Here's kind of a quick, easy way that you can take the content that you're recording as a hobby and turn that into something you can monetize. This is how we do it on Amazon Fire TV. You do your interview, whether that's for YouTube, a podcast, Facebook Live. Now you upload that to YouTube in 4K if you can. If you just got a 1080p camera, that's fine as well. But better camera quality, good audio is important. Upload that video to YouTube in 4K. Then after it's uploaded, within a few minutes, it'll give you an option to view transcription. So you scroll down to the bottom of the site, bottom of the description, click view transcription. There's a little menu on the top left that shows every word that was said, and it's got the timestamps. So it'll say at 0 seconds, this was said at 3 seconds, and it goes down and it'll write out every word that was said on there. Are any of you using AI yet? Which ChatGPT or? So a quick, easy tip is you show transcription, copy and paste the entire transcript from the chat. Load that to ChatGPT. You ask it to transcribe, to format the transcription with proper spelling, punctuation, grammar, single space after a period. So you're basically just cleaning up the weird YouTube format that it outputs in. Upload that, say guest name, first and last name, because the transcription a lot of times will mess up spellings, but you can say guest name on whatever the podcast show. And you could even put in some details that they're talking about personal branding or leadership or overcoming addiction, whatever the topic is. Then you ask it to write you an article outline, a detailed article outline. So now ChatGPT goes through, reads that entire transcript. It'll create headers, like H2 headings, with a bit of a bullet point description below each of those headers. That allows you to bypass, if any of you tried to write long articles on any of the AI stuff, it cuts you off at a certain limit. But if you start by having it created into an article outline, then from the article outline, it'll give you all the different bullet points that were talked about with kind of subsections below it. From that article outline, create a search engine optimized or SEO friendly 2,000 word article about this interview. So now ChatGPT will go through, read the transcript that you just wrote. And you can tell it to also search the web for that person. So now it's searching that guest's name, writing the article, very detailed, long article. And you don't want to just post junk. I mean, it'll still sound like somebody in a third world country wrote it. As you go through, read the article, but now you've got a couple thousand word article that is about the interview that you just did. So on Tawny Lee, for example, go to TawnyLee.com / the guest's name. Now you take that YouTube URL, put that at the top of the page. Now the YouTube video is on Tawny's site. Then you copy and paste that entire article about the interview underneath of that. So now if somebody goes to her site, here's an example. Instead of saying, check out my page on YouTube, she doesn't control the traffic that way. So now people are going to YouTube, they get lost in their YouTube videos. But if she says, go to TawnyLee.com / Bob Smith, and now he's got the page that's optimized. Anybody that's going to watch that, going to TawnyLee.com / customer name, watch that video. Now they're staying on that video, they're staying on that page for multiple minutes rather than bouncing off. YouTube ranks your site higher as you get more attention. Now here's where the monetization comes in. So as you are ranking for these other guests, and this is the difference again between new podcasters, new creators, people that are just trying to get started. You've got a good message to share, but you can't figure out how to get traffic. The big thing about it, if you start doing these search engine optimized articles, good content on there. Now when you put a call to action at the bottom, if you've got people who have read through this article, watched your YouTube video, maybe they've clicked and played the podcast on your page, they're scrolling down. They're thinking, man, I'd love to host an event. They scroll down and Tony Lee's got the call to action at the bottom of the page. So people can click right there they click, it opens up a pre-configured text message that says, hey Tony, I'd like to hire you I'd like to talk to you about hiring you as an event, as my event planner.
Sure.
Whatever, so now you've got these leads, and we're doing the same thing with your site, but every one of these, now Tony is not having to rank the healing conference or hope that people Google the healing conference. It was at Denver, we had two ladies show up accidentally. They had Googled some kind of event, found Tony's site, bought tickets and showed up and watched the conference, but they had no clue about the healing conference, about any of our speakers, but they found that just accidentally online, bought tickets, drove to the conference because of that search engine optimization. So if you guys have got content, if you're blogging, if you're putting out content and you're not making money off of it, you need to be. Every one of you that I've heard today has a message that can help people, may save a life. So if you're not doing the work to get ranked, get yourself out there, you're kind of doing the world a disservice. People can't do business with you if they can't find you. Now, if you Google, if you get on YouTube and you search best motivational speaker in Colorado, you'll see I'm the top #1 ranked on YouTube. There's a whole lot of better speakers in Colorado. There's a whole lot of better speakers in my town. Getting my name out there ranked as best motivational speaker. I'm not even a motivational speaker. I'm just speaking, teaching on branding.
Because you're so wise. You know so much.
Thank you, Tony. I've got cash.
I know, really. Where's my dollar?
That's what you get right now because I'm out of cash in the pocket, but
You are.
Cash out.
Very wise.
cash up. I try to pack in a whole lot of information real quick on how you can take a single YouTube interview or single podcast interview and turn that into search engine optimized content that drives traffic for years to come. Same thing with books. I know a lot of you have published books. Raise your hand if you're making a substantial income off that monthly where that will pay your bills. I've spoken at Caesar's Palace, some large events. I've never had anybody raise their hand that they're actually paying their bills strictly off their book. I've talked to a lot of guys about this where they've spent unbelievable amounts of money with publishing companies, fake publishing companies, people that are just loading your book up to Amazon for free and charging you a bunch of money to buy an ISBN number. Now they own the rights to your book and you're paying them and they get the royalties if you sell any books. But if you're publishing a book, if you're in the middle of writing one down right now, don't use what I just said as an excuse not to finish it. But if you think about how do I make money from a book? If you've written a good book, I hope you're the one next time to raise your hand and go, yeah, I'm making 6 figures a month off my book sales. Chances are, and I'm telling this from experience, even a terrible book, if you rank a guy as best motivational speaker, you'll get speaking gigs even if you're not a great speaker. Same thing with a book. If you get a book ranked where you're driving traffic, even if you're never making money off the book, use that as a digital calling card. So in the book, as you're writing it now, have some kind of a call to action with a problem that you solve for people. So for example, if you're looking to get hired to speak, put a call to action in there. Here's my contact information, yourwebsite.com/contact. Let them click that, have an easy way to contact you to hire you. If you're looking to make money off the book, be sure in the first chapter or two, say here's the point of this book. If you'd go ahead and leave me a positive review on Amazon or positive review where you read this, having some kind of a call to action in the book can help you to rank automatically where you're not having to tell everybody, you're not knocking on your neighbor's doors asking them to buy your copy of your book. If you get it ranked, then you'll get more reach out of it. And again, you can monetize not the actual message, but monetize the service. If anybody's brave enough to raise your hand, sure, that you've already been doing a website, you've already been doing something, and you're not making money off of it yet, is there anybody in the audience that's trying to figure that out? Okay. So a few of you. Do any of you guys have a problem that you're solving for people on the website, or what is it you try to sell or promote? What's the way you could monetize the website? Anybody selling anything on the website yet, or is it just for people to find you?
I've got my course, I've got my coaching program, I've got my book collaboration.
Okay. So if you're in a point right now where you've got a website that you've worked on, maybe you paid somebody to develop a really pretty website, and you're trying to figure out how to turn that into money. Again, money is not a bad thing. If you make more money, you've got the ability to reach more people. So if you're a dirtbag, don't follow these instructions. If you're a good person trying to help people, please put these to use so you can start growing and reach additional people. But the easiest thing, I get people all the time that are asking, about what product or service or software or course, or they want to launch a paid webinar, or they launch a paid video series. But they're trying to create a new widget, product, service, whatever, some kind of a new random product, and try to figure out how to generate an audience for it. It's ridiculously tough to generate an audience for something, to generate customers for something that people don't need. So if you figure out how to solve a problem for your specific audience, if you go, okay, Tawny with Healing Broken Women, if you are solving a problem for a specific audience that knows they need help, that can afford to help you, and also is willing to be helped, now your product is something they can buy. If you're doing something like, I was talking to another, I won't mention you here just so it's not weird, but we were talking about doing two different business models. One as like a 501c3 nonprofit. So if you've got something you've got a heart to help people, maybe you want to start a business helping homeless guys get off the street, get off alcohol, get off drugs, get off alcohol. That's gonna be a very difficult business to launch and actually monetize if your target customer, maybe they want to be helped, or maybe they need help, but they don't want the help and they can't afford to pay for the help. You have to have all three of those in combination to be able to monetize the message. So again, they need to know they need help, they need to want the help, and they need to be able to afford to pay you for the help. So something like that, if you've got a message where you're trying to help people get off the street, that target client is not going to be able to pay you for your service, but you could definitely run that alongside your other business as a nonprofit organization, maybe a tax deduction where you're using that as a marketing expense. But figure out, if you're not making money at it yet, figure out how to solve a problem, solve it for a target audience that can pay you, and then monetize it. You guys have any questions about that or how to make that work?
I am a little bit outside of the normal in terms of I have an institute where we have divisions. So my target audience is divided in, you said that's the house and there's 10 rooms in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We do first responders recovery, which is the addiction and the alcoholism, and then we have first responder mental health, and then I have children and teachers and active shooter preparation, and then I have you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So how do you direct people to your website when it's 10 different audiences?
So you need to have 10 different segments. You've got a team with multiple people running each segment of that?
Yeah.
Now does each of those have access, not administrator, but do they have a moderator type access on your site where they can get on and post content? Perfect, okay. So that's exactly how you do it. If you'll make that part of the business plan, when we launched our telecom company in 2010, we started out small little, I was living in the back of the retail store. We'd knocked the front wall out and built a retail cell phone store, living in the back trying to figure out how to get this thing to grow. But what we did was every single day, no matter what, I published at least one article. So I'd research, somewhere in Kentucky, some random city that I'd see cell phone signal was terrible. I'd do the research with each provider, Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and figure out which carriers were ranked best in that specific area. I would optimize the heck out of it, write a full article, a couple 1,000-word article about the best service in that country. In that small little rural area. Over the years, we did over 780 pages, different locations like that, where now anybody that Googled it, they're finding what is the best cell phone service in that area. Best Cellular is the #1 ranked. Now you get other sites that are going, this company has done massive research, found the best solution for my problem of having bad cell phone service in that area. So now we've got this full article. We do video sometimes, audio, different things on that, but where that page was the solution to the problem. Before we ever asked to monetize, before we ever even had a call to action on it, we had hundreds of these pages. I ended up hiring two additional search engine optimization guys that worked in my retail store alongside of me 5 days a week. And now we put a form on the site where people could ask a question. What's the best service in my area? Now, if somebody's getting on a website and typing the question in, we knew for a fact that other people in their town are looking because somebody took the work to go in and ask the question. So now I'd send these two guys, do all the research, same thing, solve that problem for those customers. And then by the time we had hundreds of pages and Google is sending us 250,000 customers a month, put that call to action on the bottom saying, here, click here to buy your SIM kit. Now that call to action instantly monetized the business. We were on track to do $986 million a year in total revenue by the end of our 10th year with zero pay-per-click ads, zero Google ad revenue, Google ad budget. We weren't doing Facebook ads, just solving problems over for that specific customer that we want to do business with. So with yours, if you had individual people, somebody in each division, tell them, okay, your job this week, you need to put up 5 different posts about your, whatever your problem you're solving. They'll start finding that page on your site. If you rank for your own name, that does not matter. Like if I've got, tell me your name again. I mean, not your name, but your website name, Battle to Be. So chances are, unless somebody's already done business with you or they've seen you at an event, they're not going to know the trademarked term Battle to Be, but they might be searching something, they're probably searching for a problem that you can solve on your site. So if you're putting up content, especially if you got multiple divisions, you got this category, start putting up articles there. Articles, videos, interviews, maybe you're reviewing or you're interviewing survivors of different abuse and trauma. Got the video interview at the top, the transcribed, the article at the bottom. Then click through, watch the video on your site instead of leaving and go to another server, another site like YouTube. But now you're solving the problem.
Not sticking that all in a blog, but creating a page for each article.
Individual blog post for each one. I mean, you'd format it as a blog post. It doesn't have to say blog. It could be whatever the title of that thing is. But
So I am preparing to launch my podcast. It depends on a lot of time frame. Some of the podcasts will just be me speaking, and some of them are going to be interviews. So what do you recommend for the ones that are just me? Should I set them all on the one page, which is my name, or should I do a new page with like the title and topic?
that's a great question, high level question. So each individual interview, if I interview, if I had Tawny Lee on Amazon Fire TV 3 different times, she would have 3 different pages.
Okay.
So if I'm optimizing her name, if Tawny's a celebrity that thousands of people a month are Googling, then I would want to optimize her title. Tawny Lee talks about whatever, but absolutely have the topic of the interview. So for example, if you had me as a guest on your show, M. Curtis McCoy shares 10 tips on personal branding or on earned media. Now somebody's searching, if they Google me, they see me speaking at another event, or I'm on a radio or TV show, and they Google me, and now your website shows up, you're sucking up search traffic that never had any clue your page existed, and now they're sucked in and doing business with you and connected with your other content.
What about the episodes that are just me speaking? Do I just put my name with the title for the page? What's your suggestion for that?
What's your website? Is it a top level domain?
It's elizabethinspires.com.
Perfect, okay. So elizabethinspires.com / I would make the slug, the end of the URL, instead of / whatever the random number that's generated.
Right.
Change that slug to / the problem that you solve. Maybe it's lack of self-worth.
Right.
So yoursite.com / self-worth. Now the title would be 10 tips on improving your self-worth
Right.
after abuse or whatever. Now you've got the solution. Don't make people work so hard to try to do business with you. The same thing, when you pull up Tawny's site, if you go to you guys' speaker video, do you care if I kind of share the tips on that and what they're getting out of it? So Will, Anita, I think you're the only 2 that spoke at her events so far. Those of you that haven't seen yet, one of the things that we do, the reason we're doing 3, multiple cameras, professional audio, rather than just doing it for the people here, the SEO benefit, search engine optimization benefit you get out of being a speaker here is not because the videography looks nice, but we'll go through and we'll take that video, same kind of a thing, where that video gets, we've got the most ridiculous computers you've probably ever seen. Definitely the coolest ones I've seen. We'll do these video edits where it's multiple camera clips, cutting in, seeing audience interaction, you speaking, really makes you look like the rock star. So now that same thing, we load it up to YouTube, pull the transcription, ask ChatGPT to format it properly, write the article outline, turn that article outline into an SEO friendly article. Now when somebody Googles Tawny Lee, they Google addiction recovery, whatever the thing is, and they land on your site, they can watch your video from your website, from your page on Tawny Lee's site. It'll link out to your website, your social media handles. So everything is designed to try to keep driving that SEO traffic. It looks like I'm in videography, but my business is all on branding, getting your name out there. And from that, there's the calls to action. You'll see below different sections, a sponsor section. If somebody's looking at the A&B Bank sponsor webpage, they go down below, they're like, man, this is a really nice search engine optimized page. How could I get on there? Oh, there's a button right at the bottom to click to sign up to be a sponsor. If they've just watched a speaker video, they can go, oh, that's the coolest speaker video I've seen. How do I be a speaker? They don't have to go look on her site, try to figure out, email her. They click the button right there and they can sign up as a speaker or a guest. So it's all, again, Tawny's heart is in having a phenomenal conference that helps people with healing. I'm on the business side, figuring out how to make that the best possible investment for you guys, where when you're speaking, you're getting permanent ongoing search engine optimization, you're getting the domain authority transferred from her page to yours, helping your ranking to make that into something you can actually monetize as a business. Made myself sound like a bad person there, but Tony's definitely the one that's trying to help people with with the conference.
So what you're saying, is these here, because that has brought me huge success. I don't know, it's been a couple years since I've had it, but I mean, the amount of people views that I had, do you remember? 80,000?
Yeah, you had over 80,000 readers your first month on your article.
Yeah, I mean, and then you had a thing on there and they would contact me, and really that's how, I mean, it's not just people in the United States. I had two offers, which I have. I've spoke to Pakistan and South Africa through Newswire on a Zoom.
So and Tony's got speaking gigs. We've had people that, I was actually got a text here. I was in the elevator coming downstairs yesterday afternoon as we were setting up.
Oh, yes.
And this lady said, I guess she was coming down for an upper floor, door open, and she said, "How you doing?" "Oh, Newswire magazine. I read that magazine." "Really?" I'm like, "That's awesome." She said, "Well, are you an employee? Are you out here for something?" I said, "Yeah, I'm doing the healing conference." She said, "I thought Newswire magazine was based in Colorado." I said, Yeah, it actually is. She knew what she was talking about. But so I asked her what she did for a living. She said, "Well, I'm actually she's a lawyer." What's her name? And she goes, "Oh, I just got another text." That's the wrong one. But she said, I'm looking to build my personal brand. She's working at a law firm right now, looking to start her own firm, and needs to figure out how to get branded. So again, just because she's read it's not that she ever would have Googled Newswire magazine, but she's Googled problems. However she found that. Now she got sucked in and she's reading those articles over, and she's seeing you guys being featured, just again because of the search traffic, not because anybody cares about the brand name of the magazine. So she had messaged asking about getting featured. Just a random person because she saw the Newswire logo there. Start building your brand, and if you're helping people and genuinely doing good business, getting your name out there is a good thing. If you're at a point right now where you don't have a way to monetize or a way to solve a problem for anybody, it's probably not a time to be featured in Newswire yet. But if you got something where you're making money already off your site, where if you could just get more people to your site, you can make more money. That's when we help you to really blow up, get you featured on the 96 billboard in Times Square, New York, do interviews on Amazon Fire TV. That's what tomorrow I'll be talking about, the process of how you get featured once you qualify to be featured. Anybody else with any other questions? Or?
Is there an AI program that you lean towards? You just do ChatGPT, or is there another one when you're doing the transcriptions?
So we started using AI back in 2016 or 2017, before the stuff that was not publicly available yet. Good question. Newswire launched in 1997. I was still in high school. I bought the company in 2018. So we've had access to AI stuff for a long time. At this point, years ago when we started, we had our own custom video our own video encoding software. So we didn't do Zoom or whatever the service was. We'd use our own system that my developer built. At this point, ChatGPT, even the free version, you can do a whole lot just on the free version of ChatGPT. The business one is, what was that, Tony? $20 a month, I think you signed up yesterday. If you're spending $20 a month and not making that back, I would bet that's probably your fault for not doing enough work. If you should be maxing that out daily. And transcriptions though, YouTube, I don't even pay for, there's Otter and a bunch of different really good software. But if you've got ChatGPT, pull that transcript, ask ChatGPT to format it. And quick tip on that, if you've got a product or a service or a solution that you're selling, when you ask any type of AI to write an article about your software or your service, it's almost always going to explain the benefits, and it's going to be a marketing message about, here's how cool I am, here's what I do, here's, maybe you got software and you're going, here's the specs, here's the technical jargon. Nobody cares, except for me, about my own business, how it works. You guys know Apple they have phenomenal copywriters. If you've ever read sales copy, Apple is the top dog as far as making it really connect with your heart. So I'll ask ChatGPT after I get done doing the transcript, I would ask, what is the difference between an experienced Apple product page copywriter versus a copywriter that writes copy that doesn't convert? ChatGPT will research the internet, look at everything that Apple's done, and it'll give you all of the tips on how Apple writes to the user's hearts, to the buyer's heart, rather than talking about the tech specs. It'll give you a ton of different details, talking in human language, writing at an 8th grade reading level, talking less about the product, more about the results. Now you say, okay, use what you just said about Apple product page copywriter and write an article about this product that I just told you to write about. Now it writes it as if it was an Apple copywriter, making a product that converts. So to prime it, AI does not actually exist. Artificial intelligence is not intelligent. It's not a sentient being that knows everything. All it is it's accessing the sum of all human knowledge on the internet,
Right.
and answering your question the best that it can from what's already been published by other people.
Right.
Basically, you get better responses out of better answers. If you think of it as figure you hired a copywriter from another country that barely speaks English. If you tell them, write me a blog article, you're gonna end up with a bunch of just a random blog article that sounds like it was written by a third world copywriter. If you tell it, write me a search engine optimized 1,200 word article about this topic, focusing on these keywords, they're gonna write you a whole lot better quality article. So ChatGPT, the reason I ask it to say what's the difference between an Apple product page copywriter and a copywriter that's not selling anything is because it will tell you, here are the steps that the Apple product page copywriters do to close sales, and then just tell it to do that to write the article about the transcript you just provided. You guys, tomorrow we're gonna show you how to actually be featured, how it works to be interviewed on Amazon Fire TV, on Newswire magazine, how to get your name out there on the cover, and also how you can gain over 700,000 active followers. One of our Facebook groups got over 400,000 members in it, and that cost me zero to build, so got some good tips for you tomorrow. Appreciate you guys.
Good job. Thank you.